What a doozy, 1929 here with another fine episode of GTA Autos. Ah, what a fabulous, fabulous day. So, as you can see, the cars right here behind us, out of all the classic cars on this game, I'd say this one takes the cake. This is the king of all classic cars. This is the Declasse Mamba. Now, like I do in all my videos, I give you specs, I give you history, I give you all the information that you need to know about the cars that I'll be talking about on this show. Not all my stuff is going to be 100% accurate, so please don't leave any rude comments saying, oh, that's fake and all that, because I gave you a heads up. And if you do, well, screw you. The Mamba is actually based off probably the car world's most legendary automobile. This is based off the Shelby Cobra, and this is one of the coolest cars to ever come out the swinging 60s. Originally designed by the AC Car Ltd company, it was marketed as the AC Bristol, and AC is actually a British Euro car brand. They made basic sports cars and roadsters, and the Bristol was their top of the line sports car. And around in the early 60s, a guy named Shelby probably did the impossible. This car basically, it's brakes are not that well. This car is basically a car that it's just wild. Shelby basically what he did was he bought a whole bunch of the AC Bristol bodies, and he stuck Ford's big block V8 into these cars. Now, if you're a car guy, put two and two together, and basically you get the fastest production car in its decade. This car basically had a lot of power. It was actually one of the fastest cars in the world at one point. This car had a 427 cubic inch V8 that pushed this thing from 0 to 60 in a mind-numbing 4.5 seconds. Now, some of these cars could reach a top speed of 165 miles an hour. Back in the day, that was mind-numbing fast. Now, there were some competition Shelby Cobras made with a 485 cubic inch V8, and this thing basically had a top speed of an outstanding 186 miles an hour. This car was very, very powerful back in this day, and only 300 of these cars were originally made. Now, there's no telling how many of them are still left, so these are very, 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 very expensive cars. When you go to a collector car auction, these cars can basically hit the $1 million mark if they're in really good condition or in decent shape. Now, sure, it's $1 million car. It's very popular. Everyone wants one, but no one can afford the $1 million stuff unless you have Donald Trump money. Now, the funny part is there's actually a company that makes replicas, and these replicas can range from around $25,000 to at least $100,000, depending on which one you want. But they're really nice. They're just like the same, and you get a lot of more bang for your buck. It depends on which car company does it, because there's lots of people who make the Shelby Cobra kit cars, and the ones that do them right, they'd be the ones that'd be worth buying. So basically, the Shelby Cobra in history is one of the best cars in the world. It's one of the best cars in the world on my list. I don't know, but everyone agrees this car is one of the best cars in the world. So the Mamba is basically one of a handful of returning cars in Grand Theft Auto 5 that has returned from previous Grand Theft Auto games like Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2. This car technically hasn't been in a game in over a decade and a half. So this car basically, this is his first time in an HD universe. So of course Rockstar has to get this car to come back, and this time it has to come back in style. This car basically has a big V8 engine, and I'm just gonna show you some proof because this this car has a wild engine, and the engine sound of itself is just so nuts. Even when you step out the car and you get back and you hear the engine start, this thing is monstrous. Oh man. This thing basically is a small roadster with a big V8 engine. You put two and two together and you get a car with a ton of power. And what I mean by a ton, I mean this car can hit a lot of wheel spins. You want to know how you can tell this car is very powerful? When you're getting into speed and you finally double shift and this thing just lets the tires squeal. And I'll give you some proof as we get onto the straightaway right now. This car is so fun. There's no the price tag on this car. I would say I agree with the price tag because these Shelby Cobras can get to that point. Matter of fact, I think this car is actually underpriced because these Shelby Cobras can actually reach $1 million plus. A decent, a very good one that doesn't have a lot of miles on it, that's one of the original Shelby Cobras, these things can reach for probably around, I would say between 6 and 10 million. They're that rare and they're that expensive. So this has got to be really cool. This is really nice. The car has a mind-numbing 0 to 60 time of 3.26 seconds. This thing, once you master the accelerator, it's just all power from here. Now, I'll say the only downside of this car is just for the experts. No novice driver should ever drive this car. And what I mean by that, I mean this car is very hard to control. With all this power, you need a lot of expertise to control this car, to tame it. It's like a wild animal. That's why they gave it the name the Mamba. Mamba is actually another way of saying is actually a type of poisonous snake. So basically, you can tell this car is based off a Shelby Cobra. Cobra is a snake, Mamba is a snake, a poisonous snake at that. So you gotta learn how to tame this car. And I've been having this car for a while, and yet I still need to understand the mix and the handling of this thing, because you literally can sling this thing around corners really quick, and with this elegant body you can do it with style. Like I said, this thing has a very high price tag, around $995,000. Now I bet you're wondering, it's too expensive. No. This car is I say this car is at a decent price range, and I would say that because the real Shelby Cobras can get upwards to that point, and this car fits this description. It's really fun. It's really cool. It's a car guy's dream, basically. This has got to be one of Rockstar's best cars they've ever brought out. It's really fun. The wheel spins are just really crazy, and I just really think the stats on this car really doesn't match. And I bet you're wondering, that's bad. No. This is really good because this car actually performs as it's faster than it's advertised on the game. Because you look at the stats on this car and it's like it's average for a sports classic, but I think this car is faster than the stats tell it is. Because this thing really can eat the road, and it can beat a lot of the cars on the street. Now I wouldn't say it can beat some of the supercars on there, but this was basically a supercar in the 60s. So I would say this thing can keep up with some supercars. I think it can outrun the Bullet. It can outrun the Vaca. I guarantee you can probably outrun the Infernus. But other than that, once you get towards T20 and Zentorno and Adder Territory, the car gets smoked. But other than that, this is a very fun car. And out of all of this, I give it all a 10. It's a 10 all the way. This has to be the best car I've ever reviewed. And novice drivers, you really need to learn how to drive this car if you decide to get one, because this car really will lead you in a ditch, it'll leave you in a wall. It's really, really difficult to handle. And like I said, expert drivers, if you know how to tame this beast, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. It's fun. It's really fun. And basically, I have nothing more to say about this car. It's really fun. It's really cool. I mean, words. I'm just repeating words, but this car is just so fun. It's so cool. I love it. I'm glad I spent the money on it, even though when I was skeptical. But this was money worth well. This is money well spent. This is what is Doozy 1929 here, signing off with the Mamba. I'll see you guys later.